380 ACP handguns. Not sure how you feel about them or if you think that they are worth carrying when compared to a 9mm, but here are the 4 380 ACPs that I own. Now these are all empty and clear. Checked them prior to starting the video for all you crybabies out there. Looking at you, YouTube. This is the larger of the ones that I have. Now I got this because I already had some of the other M&Ps. I figured, well, what's one more? And I wanted to see how they shot in 380. One, it's the EZ. Second, it's a compact. To me, it's like a full-size 380. I don't know of any other 380s that are larger than this. They're all pretty small. I thought this would be a really nice, easy shooting gun. I do think that it is a soft shooting gun. I don't like this safety. It sticks out way too much even when it's pressed in. It does bother the hand. It feels like you can't ride up on the grip because you have something constantly pushing you down. After a shot or two, I feel like I have to, again, just readjust my grip. It's annoying. I know they can replace these with the standard one, which sits a lot more flush, but then that just makes the gun look ugly. Not that it looks good to have it there to begin with, but at least in this aluminum silver color, it matches. The next one I have is probably my favorite of the ones that I have in 380, and that is the Glock 42. Now it's my favorite because I can shoot it the best. Now I did upgrade the sights on here. They didn't come with these factory out of the box, so that does help. But even before I put these on with the factory sights on there, I was able to group pretty well with these without having to do anything extra. I don't like that I don't get a full grip, but it didn't really affect my shooting too much, which was a surprise. I thought it'd be more difficult. I thought any little flip would kind of rock it out of my hand, but surprisingly it didn't. I attribute that to the girth that it has. It doesn't look very wide, and it's not that it feels wide, but it has just enough that you get a comfortable grip on it. Some of the other guns, like the one I'll show you in a minute, that is a little too thin, makes it uncomfortable, just harder to put things on target. The next one I have is the Sig Sauer P238. Now, I originally wanted to get this one sooner than I did, but I did not want to pay $600+ for it. It just was not worth it to me, which is why I went with the a different model. Eventually, I got all the 4 that I wanted, but this one, I just thought had the best look. I thought it had a great feel. With this little extension, it's just perfect. It doesn't get a full grip, but I don't expect it to because of the size of the gun, but enough that that little lip helps it from kind of moving around in my hand. When I squeeze it, my finger doesn't kind of roll off. And the dovetail really helps. This is a lot more comfortable than a dovetail with a big old safety sticking out, getting in your way, which is part of the reason I really like the Glock. There's nothing there. You can get a real nice high grip on it. Recoil on this is minimal. Part of it is the frame. I do feel it more when I shoot the Glock than when I shoot this one. Now this one did come with night sights. I didn't do anything to this gun. This is the way it came. It's got the night sights. It's got a really nice trigger. And of course it comes with the little laser, which I don't use. It's not even on right now. It doesn't even have a battery in it. But I figured I'd leave it on there. Why take it off? Doesn't bother me and I don't use it that often. And I do like these grips. I like that it has these 3 lines. They're simple, but they're very effective. The material is smooth, but those lines give you a neck texture that it doesn't slide out of your hand. Now, I've only shot this once when it was hot. It was sweaty. I didn't run into any issues. I would occasionally wipe my hands, but it's more because this is a polymer. It's almost like a plastic, like a smoother plastic. So you do feel that slickness on your hand, but again, nothing that really moved my hands. Just enough to it got annoying. This was the first 380 that I purchased. I went with this one because I was torn between this and these other 3. Now, when I purchased this, there's a few factors. One was availability. I did want the Glock 42 originally, but it was never in stock. Everybody was always sold out. No ETAs of when the new ones were coming out. This one I thought was just too expensive. As much as I liked it, it just wasn't worth the price. They priced themselves out of competition, in my opinion. This one seemed to fit quite a few things. One, it was available. Two, the price of this when I purchased it was $249.99. They had it on special. So for $249, I could get a 380. It was smaller than the rest, thinner than the rest, and seemed pretty durable. After purchasing it, I see why it was $250. Still a good value for the gun for what it is. You're not going to be shooting long distances with it. Now, you could kind of tell there, the sights are just matte black. They just got a little bit of texture on them. A lot of people say it's for reducing glare. They're pretty useless. I at one point did try to paint that white. I ended up taking it off. It didn't really do anything for me as far as improve with the line of sight, or not the line of sight, but lining up the sights. So I removed it. This one is uncomfortable to shoot. I attribute that to two things: size of my hands, size of the gun. It's really thin. If you have smaller hands, I don't think that would bother you as much, but it really kicks into the webbing of the hand. This beaver tail is a little too short. I have some meat right there, as you can see. This is the only gun of all the guns that I own that has ever given me slide bite, and that was cleaning it. I was pulling this back. I think I was taking it down or putting it back. I don't recall which. And the slide slipped on me, caught my skin, had it there hanging. It was a good chunk too. It's not like a little piece of skin where you could just kind of tear it off or cut it off. It was a significant amount that I had to have someone else come and help me pull the slide back because I couldn't grip the gun because of the way my hand was caught. So aside from that being a potential issue if you have bigger hands, the thinness of it again does bother the webbing. Now if you just shoot a handful of rounds, you're fine. But when I take something to the range, I typically put 50 to 100 rounds through it at a time. They do have the rubber grips you can put over these, but I didn't want to make the gun bigger. The whole purpose of it is to be concealed. This is the only gun I can recall pocket carrying because it was so thin I could just stick it in my pocket. Now, one thing, if you know anything about this gun, it does have an extremely heavy trigger pull. That initial movement of the trigger is the toughest part. It's great for safety, and for what this is, kind of quick point and shoot, you'll be fine. You know, just grab it, pull. Nothing hard that you can't pull, but definitely not something you're going to be grouping really tight shots at, 10, 15 yards. It's possible, it's just not a fun gun for that. It's going to take too much effort for me, but I did keep it because, again, it is a nice gun. It fills its purpose. And for the price, I mean, really, you have a gun for $250. It's kind of hard to say it's not worth it when it really does what it needs to do. So that is the Smith & Wesson M&P Bodyguard. Again, the Sig Sauer P238s, followed by the Glock 42 and the Performance Center M&P 380 EZ. Which do you think is the best gun? Which would you get? Or which do you have if you already have one of these? Go ahead and write your response there in the comments below. One thing I will note is these guns are 6-shot, 7-shot, 6-shot, and I forget this one. This one is an 8-shot. I will add, of course, that most of these you can get extended magazines on. I have not seen any for the Glock, but to be honest, I haven't looked. See, that one's also a 6-shot. This one I do have, I think it's a 10-rounder with. with that one. Nothing I'd ever carry. I got it for the range, hoping it would improve the feel of the gun when I shot. It did not, just give me more shots. So that was just a quick look at some of my 380s. I'll post a few pictures so you can see the size difference, but I think it's pretty clear. The order that I have them in alone lets you know the actual size. From the largest to the smallest. Let me know if there's any other 380s out there that are better than these four. I'm not aware of too many 380s besides the 1911 style 380s, which I didn't see. I didn't really get a chance to put my hands on one, so that's why I went with these. Plus, these seem to be the most popular of all 380 ACP pistols that I found.